So in today's video, we're going to talk about remarketing campaigns, specifically what I call, or should I say, I've coined the term or invented the term, tiered remarketing campaigns. And what you can do to take the PPC campaigns that you're running right now, particularly if you're not running any what are called remarketing campaigns or ads that show up for people that you're paying to come to your site right now, but you're not following them up, or in general, even if you are, but you're basically like 99% of people who do the campaigns, as which I've noticed after looking at, quite a few campaigns for people what they're running are not doing with their remarketing ads, maybe running a couple ads, didn't really think much into it, knew that remarketing could be important, made sense. I'm going to tell you how to do it the right way so that you basically can double the ROI that you're getting from your traffic that is coming in right now. But not only from that PPC traffic, but all your traffic, organic traffic, so on and so forth. So anyway, today's video, how to double all your website or PPC campaign traffic ROI through tiered remarketing campaigns. And if we want to add some to that, it should be all your traffic, referral traffic, whatever traffic you have coming into your site, since I never just remarket PPC traffic only, because you get like a 2-for-1, setting up stuff that needs to be is necessary to make your PPC campaigns work, make all of your traffic work. So anyway, like usual, I have just a short list of things here to mention to you about what this is, how to do it, the main key things that you need to know to do it, and so that you can actually go out after this video and do it on your own if you are ambitious and you want the 2x difference in your results, your campaign ROI that you're getting right now. So anyway, the first thing here is, just basically, what is tiered remarketing? So tiered remarketing, I have a small diagram here that goes over what tiered remarketing is, in essence, and what I've illustrated here, what most people do, typically now, or without, the tiered remarketing that I do that doubles your campaign results and your ROI, to what I particularly do, what the differences are between those two. And so the first thing that I'll cover is what other people are doing, which don't get the 2x results. People go, they're paying good money, $4, $5, $6, $10, $20 a click to get people to their website. They're not doing any follow-up. The user gets to their site. Typically, more than half of the time, they leave to go and do more research, and for the higher price product or service that you're selling, the more statistically they're going to leave, no matter how good your site is, before they make a decision. Or they may actually respond by entering in their form information to download some information from you, or just to talk to your salespeople in general. They're not making their decision ultimately to buy yes or no until much later on. And so therefore, either way you slice it, they're going to leave and do more research. They're going to check their other options. They're going to wait to basically gather the money to make a purchase. In a B2B, get clearance on funds. If it's B2C, they just don't have the money right now because everybody lives paycheck to paycheck, i.e. above their means. They spend everything they got no matter what they make, unless they're, the uber wealthy class for the most part. They don't have liquid funds available, wait to get paid the next paycheck, as you'll see at the 1st and the 15th of the month, your sales will go up, and that's what that's from. Or any other reasons that they're going to make a decision to delay the purchase so they know that they're making the right decision and not making an impulse decision that they're going to regret later on. And so they have this period of basically 2 months to 2 days for most markets and most products and services in the price ranges that are typical for what most people are selling through PPC. They're going to try to decide and or wait to get money, or 5 to 10 other things, delay the purchase so they can make the best decision and get the best deal for their money possible. Let alone that, a lot of people do the research before they even decide they're going to buy anything, just to see if it is the right decision to buy something. So with no follow-up, you're marketing to someone that's, should I actually get that swimming pool or not? I don't know. Whereas you could turn a lot of those people into an actual customer that just weren't quite fully convinced, if they had a friend there that said, oh, I have a pool and I love it, they would actually buy. You can do that through this mechanism I'm about to describe here. So anyway, the 2 months to 2 weeks go by and then nothing happens. And you say to yourself, what am I doing wrong? I have a great website here. The keywords, I'm looking at my search terms report on my Google Ads. It looks like people are typing in, they're looking for a swimming pool right now. Why is it they're not buying from me? Or why is it 100% of the people don't buy from me? Because people they wait to make their decisions, of course. But anyway, and if they do make a purchase, so sometimes obviously they don't make any decision at all just because, like I said, they're doing research and trying to convince themselves if they should actually do this. If they actually do buy from somebody, they buy from somebody else. A lot of times have done a little bit better job convincing the user. So you could obviously pay for people to come to your site. You're trying to statistically find out who's qualified to give you a higher chance of making the sale, but whoever gets it makes the more compelling argument at the end of the day. And these remarketing ads help you make the more compelling argument that I'm going to describe here. So anyway, my version of what I do when I run these PPC campaigns to get the full value of the traffic or double the ROI if somebody is not doing it and I step in and help somebody do it here at our firm is the same process. They go to your site, they leave to do some research. We expect that. No matter how good our landing page is, no matter how good our site is, we're still expecting people to leave and come back later. Therefore, no matter how, we're not going to just rely on the stuff on our site to convince them the user to buy or not buy, because that's not how the buying process typically works. Sometimes, but definitely not a majority of the time. And so with that, during that 2 months to 2 days that they're deciding typically, they're going to see at least 5 different examples or reasons why they should purchase from us versus the competition. And there's a whole bunch of different things and ways that you could do this. You could run an ad with a customer testimonial on it, if you can get clearance and get their face on there and what they said, and a link to their Facebook would be super uber awesome. I've done that. That works really, really well. You can have your Google reviews, Bird Eye reviews, if you're a local business, if you're national business, Trustpilot, whatever it is. You might have an industry, trade review site that you can show the reviews on if you're a lawyer, lawyers.com, whatever, Abo. But you use whatever's most relevant to obviously your niche business that you're in, other people are using, and then put that actually into your ads. You're kind of cramming it down their throat, if you will. If you are looking to hire someone to build your pool, make sure it's us, because we are the ones with the best reviews. Why would you go anywhere else? You'd be stupid to go anywhere else, is the subconscious message that you're trying to give to them ultimately. And you're putting it in obviously in a nice way, but to be real about the situation, that's what it is. Anyway, you may be thinking about a product, what's different. So some other things that commonly I'm going to do, if it's a visual service that we're delivering in terms of the end product, or if it's a product itself, obviously, you're going to have pictures of the product being used and or being installed, or the finished end product. Before and afters, I love those. You can have an ad with a before and an after. It's really great stuff. That helps compel the person that was skeptical or wasn't sure who to buy from or to buy it at all, both in one whack, what to buy. I mentioned testimonials. We got use cases. A lot of times people don't know if what you sell is for them exactly, and they're doing the research. Like I said, a lot of times people are going to burn up your money before they're even going to have decided if they're going to buy this, and they're going to try to use you as an education source. Well, if so, don't just throw those people away. Part of getting your double the ROI comes from convincing those people to buy. So you can have use cases. If you sell a teeth whitening product, show people that have used the product, how they're using it, what the end results are, and that it can clear up, more specifically, coffee stains. It can clear, the different actual individual things that the product could fix. Make sure you show this person drank, a pot of coffee a day, and that now their teeth are white, and so that person, if they're thinking, can this actually get rid of coffee stains. They now know for sure. And then you go through the most common ones, and then therefore that person that's kind of on the fence can now have a reason to buy. You know, if you're in a B2B space, case studies, of course, that's the big one here. And of course, case studies, it doesn't really matter that for a whole lot if your case study isn't going after a recognizable company for people to trust. So you go after the most recognizable name that you can to get the case study, and then you bribe or incentivize. I hate to use the word bribe, but it is what it is. You get a case study from your top guy or top company, and then you put that into a case study, put that into your ad that you have a case study from that company, and then you have 4 or 5 of those ads, so that depending on what company they are, they'll be able to see a company that most closely matches the type of company they are and click on the ad, read the case study, and that's how you convince people. Obviously case studies doesn't have to be just a B2B though. A lot of people don't do that. You can have a whole case study on somebody who had a yard that was too small traditionally for a pool, and you showed person XYZ thought they had a yard that was too small for a pool, and we showed them otherwise. And you talk about the whole story. Then again, you incentivize the customer, but it's the same thing. These are all really good things that people want to know. And ultimately, if it comes down to you giving them that information, somebody else not, and it's that relevant to them, and then you have to have many different, individual ads and messages to hit what's close to that buyer. If they have that, I mean, you basically made yourself the default option at that choice, at that point. And then, of course, you got third-party reviews. If you could get a sponsored article on a trade publication inside your space, or on a Forbes.com, or something like that, or Business Insider, or some other, if you're in a B2C space, there's usually other like review sites. If you sell a mattress, you can get a review on a mattress review site. I've seen people do that, and that sometimes obviously that costs money. That's how the game's played, unfortunately, but that's just how it is. Buckle up, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, realize it's not fair, do it, and then put in your ad that you got a review from the review site or from the publication that reviewed your product. Point to it. What you say about yourself is only 25% as important as what somebody else says about you. So what you should think, all of the general themes of what I said here is about what other people said about you, except for like the case studies, of course. So you always, in some shape or form with these ads, want to make sure this is what other people are saying about you, so it makes it more believable. But then whatever you can't get, you have some of that, and then when you say some stuff that is about yourself, it seems self-serving, that people believe it because they've seen other third-party sources as well. But anyway, that gives you the general idea, and then once they've seen enough of these messages, you see a message again and again and again and again, and they're like, all right, I'll buy already. They buy from you versus the person who did none of this. And so, anyway, moving on to the second thing here, how much can you really earn from this? So the title of the video obviously is to double your campaign ROI. It will vary based upon who you are, what you're selling. There's a thing called an attribution report in your Google Ads account, and there's other ad platforms have their own thing, Facebook and so forth, that you could go on your Google Analytics if your other ad platform that you're using now, or you don't run ads and want to use this for something else like organic traffic, which you certainly could, to find out how long is it basically from the time that people click on your site till they actually purchase, or they at least initially respond to talk to a salesperson, which everybody can measure. You could check the average number of visits until they make a purchase, because sometimes it takes 2 or 3 or 4 visits, and you could see that through Google Ads specifically, but you could also see it through Google Analytics. And then what percentage of the people have to visit just in general more than once. And then also through Google Ads and through Google Analytics, the amount of time on average it takes for people from the time they initially click to convert into a lead or convert into a purchase. And so that will tell you just in general what the opportunity is. I have a lot of people check that and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe that, they're, 30% of the people here aren't buying except for upwards of a month in the future. And I'm basically throwing all the money away from these people or whatever. But I created just a little mini chart here, which serves as a general rule of thumb as to what you could earn from this traffic, and it all has to do mainly, these things here are directly tied to or correlated with the cost of what you're selling. Like going back to what I said in the earlier part of the video, the more that the cost of the product or service you sell, the more they're going to wait and procrastinate because they want to make the right decision, and therefore the more that this system can have an effect. Now, right off the bat, if you sell a product or service more than $1,000, that could have from a half of a basically 50% of a change on your sales to 5 times. And I know that sounds extreme, but if you sell something with it, it's kind of new, there's only 4 or 5 options, they don't have very good websites, you have all this information available to the user, as I just mentioned, 5 to 10 different sources of information. You are able to send people to read more about that information from the ad instead of just sending them to the homepage, which is the ultimate thing you want to do. You can get upwards of 5 times the amount of ROI that you had from the ads before. Or another way to say this is if you weren't really making much from your ads and you're scratching your head and thinking, why is this not working? This right here, many, many times can be all what fixes what you're trying to do. And once you've done all this stuff, typically, there's other traffic sources like Google search ads will then now start to work. So if you do this, and I always tell our clients, we work the sales funnel from the bottom up. You fill all the holes in the funnel at the bottom so that eventually the stuff that is expensive to drive traffic in that's paid, that's just stuff just starts working. So, you keep doing it. In other words, another way to put it is if you haven't gotten a doubling in ROI or a tripling of ROI, just keep adding stuff to your remarketing sequence. It costs literally a penny to have one of these ads shown to one of your prospects that you spent $5 or $10 to get to your site in the first place. And the more of them you have, the more of sales lift you're going to get to a degree, of course. Usually if you by the time you hit like 10 plus ads, the effect you're going to get is pretty much nil. We do 20 different ads for our own firm because I know how much it matters. We have videos, just on and on and on. If you have a product or service that's $50 to the $1,000 range, you might get 0.1 or 10% increase to basically 100% increase. So you can see how it ranges. But in general, you'll always get something, and it's basically free money once it's set up. Yes, it costs money to get this stuff set up, but then at the same time, why not go ahead and set that up for yourself, and so that once it is set up, you don't have to do anything. It just runs and it runs and it runs. And even if you don't run paid ads, you can make this stuff will just automatically give you free money. You'll work less for more money in your business. And then ultimately, like I said, the master prize out of this is your funnel gets so efficient that you can now outdo the people you couldn't outdo before in Google search or Bing ads, that now they work, and instead of just making twice the money you're making now from the traffic that you have coming in, you basically can 10x it, because now you can pour in traffic that normally the market rate for the traffic wasn't working for you because your funnel wasn't efficient. Now it is. Now you could, instead of spending $3,000 a month, you could spend 30 because it's now profitable. You get my picture here. So it really doesn't make sense for me, for most of the time when I'm working with a new client, to skip over this stuff and then just adding new traffic in right away, because I know how much of an impact this stuff always has. Doesn't matter really what it is, unless you're selling a $10 broom, or there's no decision-making process on that. Either buy it or you don't. And it's just going to be so much easier on myself having to actually go through and do all the work to scale up a $30,000 a month ad campaign, that it makes zero sense not to go through and do this first and do it, pretty much, to the degree that it has most of the full effect that it should have. So anyway, that's everything about how to, double your PPC traffic ROI using tiered remarketing. You can check out a lot of our other videos here on the channel of lots of other money-making PPC strategies on this particular channel. Try to release a video every day. If you want to try this out, have some comments about what you're doing, leave a comment down below. You could also go to guaranteedppc.com and have a blog there which has step-by-step money-making strategies if you want a little bit more information on how to run PPC campaigns that work for yourself. But I hope you got a lot from this video, and I hope you certainly do go out and try these things for yourself, and certainly will work.